Hey guys, welcome back to DMAT Customs on the YouTube. Dave here in the garage on the Area 51. Haven't really got a full weekend at the old thing this week. I had some other chores to do around the house, you know, like general homeowner maintenance type stuff. So, home ownership maintenance, well, just weekly sort of stuff. Well, not weekly stuff, some of it's weekly stuff. Like I had to go and pick up the dog poo patrol, I like to call it. Didn't video it, but I also had to trim some vine that was overgrowing down one of our fence lines. So to do that, and what did I do? Had to mow the lawns. You know, like haven't got much lawn, but still needs mowing. So I had to do that, and then I had to do something I've been avoiding for quite some time, which was wash the house. I got the old pressure washer that I bought off the old marketplace for a year or so back for a princely sum of like 150 bucks. Good buying. So I had to go and do that. And all of those things took me all day, so I didn't get any time with the old girl here. So this week I'm just going to target a little rust repair. Hopefully it's the last actual kind of major rust repair. Not major, it's just a little patch panel I've got to do up under the rear wheel arch. So let's get at it, I'll show you what I mean. If you haven't subscribed, this is probably not the video that's going to really turn you on to subscribing, but if you haven't subscribed and you're still watching at this point, then get on over there and hit the little subscribe button that's in the corner of the thing, or you just pause it and click on that and just get it done. That would be awesome. Thanks for that. Anywho, so I've got this, if you watched the last video anyway, we got we're under here now. The weather's a bit crap, so I haven't got the chassis outside. We got that far with the wire wheeling and finishing off a lot of the welding and stuff like that on the underside. Still got obviously some work to do back here. Nothing serious. The most serious is that there. So, and I just noticed there's a couple of broken bolts in these areas here too, which I'm going to have to try and drill them out, or get them out, probably drill them out, probably butcher up the threads and make a mess. But yeah, priority is, like, I've got to fix those broken bolts, but I've got to replace that hunk of steel there, so I've got to figure out how I'm going to make that patch panel there. It looks like it's pretty restricted to just this plane here, so I might be able to kind of cut along that edge and you kind of do it that way. Might have to kind of hand form a piece. It looks a bit bent already, but we'll figure that out. And as you can see here, we've got some cleanup work to do in here. There's a little bit of crap there that needs addressing. I've got to weld up this hole here for the fender skirt. I drilled the hole too far forward, so I've got to fill it in there and then just open that hole up again. So with all of that waffle being said, I'm going to have to figure out how I'm going to do this. I don't want to push the chassis out just yet. It's still been raining and I don't want it kind of sitting out on the driveway on the rain. If it was, you know, don't want to kind of get wet yet. And make a template or something and see if I can make a little piece to put in there and then cut it out and weld it in. Hopefully. Let's get at it.
Right, I'll start with giving it a bit of a wire wheel around the area that I'm going to have to do some welding on. Start with some clean steel. Just got to decide what I want to wire wheel it with. Maybe something with a bit more oomph like that. Not quite that, because that's the one that kind of took a chunk out of my arm last week when it came out of the drill. So I'm going to use this one.
Okay, so heard a lot of YouTubers referring to this as CAD, cardboard aided design. So not claiming that little term for me, but that's what I'm going to do. Some arts and crafts with the old cardboard and see what I can come up with. See if I can get a rough curve on there, and then down through there. Right, some basic cutting. So there's a cut through there, and then cut through there. A little mark on there. Don't quite know how I'm going to make this piece yet, but it's a bit thin there. On that upper edge there, she looks pretty solid. I'm just worried if I don't cut back far enough into here, I'll end up fighting with thin steel, and you know what I'm saying? Like, just keep punching holes in it when I'm trying to weld it. It's a bit thin there, but it's like crocky weedy end. If I can get through into that area there, it's not bad. It's a little bit thin there. I'll probably regret not going further, but yeah. Anywho, right. Yabbering on about bloody regrets and shit. And that hole is going to be where that hole goes. So let's go and see how I can make this. I might end up getting the old bead roller out and seeing if I can tip these edges on there. Maybe if I want to kind of get that like that, you know what I'm saying? Right, let's go and see if I can cut this old chassis out there. The weather's holding off for now, so head rush standing up too quick. Yeah, so it's supposed to rain a bit more today, so if it starts raining, let me know, and I'll get this thing back inside and have to work around it, unfortunately. But bigger shed would be good. Okay, so I got me a little offcut here that I'm just kind of you know, trying to think and talk at the same time. It's quite difficult sometimes. So I got me a little offcut that I'm just going to start off trying to get this first little curve in that built into it with the old bead roller. So I'm just going to quickly trim that up with the old tin snips, get it down to a workable sort of size, drag the old bead roller out, which is hidden over there behind the bonnet, or the hood, as some folk call it. And yeah, see if I can start making this shape. This offcut's a little bit on this small side. It's not quite big enough, but I did allow for a bit of trimmage, so this offcut just might not allow for any trimmage. Oh, the ouch. Right, we'll probably throw those out.
got enough crap under the bench, I don't need to keep them. So I might give that a bit of a smooth out and then start working that out. Okay, so got the old Eastwood queued up, ready to go. Did I tighten those up? Got these tipping dies in here. Hopefully these are the kind of the right ones that I want to do for this job. Not an expert on bead rolling in any form whatsoever. I just have a crack at it. So I'm going to see if I can kind of create this sort of tip up edge on that, hopefully. If not, we'll just try again. Well, she might work. Not quite enough, but might be enough that I can hammer it up a bit more from there. But we'll go give it a second pass, and see what happens. Get a bit more onions in there. Yeah. Don't know. Might be okay. I'll go and have a little test fit and see what it looks like. Hopefully that's closer. Now I haven't got one of those like shrinker stretcher doodads, so it's creating a bow in there. Ideally I'd like to be able to shrink that back and kind of straighten it out. What I'm probably going to have to do is cut a couple of little series of notches in there, pull it back and weld it, unfortunately, which if I do it from the back it should be alright, I guess. But I've still got to tip that front edge as well. Don't know. We'll carry it. We'll maybe try and tip this edge before I do that. What will that do? It'll want to push it back, so I might need to cut the notches in there, and then I don't know, I'm just rambling. I'm making this shit up as I go along, so let's see. So I was just doing a little test fit. Now I was way too stingy on my using this offcut. I should have cut a bigger piece off my sheet of steel over there, but I was just scavenging under the bench. And so I haven't left enough room for, that's kind of like the folded edge, so I need to add about, you know, 1/4 inch or something, 5/8 off at the end onto that anyway. So because I don't think I'm going to get a nice fold on there anyway, I might cut a strip and weld it on there at a 90. So I might flatten this off and then cut a strip into there, take it onto there, and then we've got, you know, a kind of nicer edge. It doesn't have to be super nice anyway. There's a cover that will cover that edge. This is the edge here that you'll see from inside the wheel tub, but you know, not outside the car. So I'll trim that back and cut me a strip. I've got to flatten this out. I've got to flatten it out. How am I going to do that? Cut those notches, I guess. Alrighty, so I've done a three notches in there. I think I might need to do another couple more just to get me a little bit. Oh, didn't go far enough with that one. Yeah, so if I give them a little weldy weld, and then I even pull them a little bit tighter, and then I can hammer and stretch them a bit, weld them from this back side, that way that inside will be relatively clean, I think, maybe. Yeah, I'll do that, see what happens. Okay, right, I'm trying to use this little TIG as much as possible just to get better and better at it, because I used to really enjoy like oxyacetylene welding when I was doing a couple of my other cars, but I haven't got that provision anymore to do it at home, and this is the kind of closest thing I can do to it without having to spend a heap of money on different bottles and stuff. I kind of getting a little bit better here and there, like for doing sheet metal stuff. It's really, it's a bit like oxyacetylene, you can blow through super easy. So little bits like this that are kind of out of the way, unseen, if it's not that great, it's all good. It just means that I get more practice and stuff. So I don't know, I'm just trying to justify why I'm doing it with this instead of just blasting it with a MIG. Oh, I've got a little seat behind me here. Hey, there's, you ready? Let's do it, see if I can totally balls this up. Alrighty, so that's not really what I wanted. We've got too much filler. I wanted it smoother on the inside. The outside I can just file back, but on the inside there it's a bit harder to get to, but it is what it is. So I'll just give this a bit of a clean up. An old flat tack, as Puddin calls it, and see if I can make the next bit. Yeah. Safety. Protect the ears. I don't know, I'm not sure what I just did, you know, like, I might not have recorded anything, but these safety goggles just fog up something severe. You can't see anything when you're trying to work with them. But yeah, so I've ground the bulk of that back. I've just got to get on the inside there, and I might use a little roll lock for that and see if I can do some delicate grinding on there. And there, see? Alright, climbing under. I've got a seat under here, so this is like quite cool, being able to sit on something comfortable but bang my head a lot. But anyway, task at hand. So that's where we're looking at going with this. I think I need to measure this up properly and measure my points, and then do the final trim out the guts of it, and then I can make a little return strip and weld that onto it, because I've done all that with the roll up. Could probably get in there and take those out a bit more, but we're in the inner fender. I don't think it's that necessary, and by the time we get like however many layers of paint and bloody underbody stuff on there, you're not going to see those little doodads. So yeah, right, I'll make my strip, weld my next piece on. Yeah, climb out from under here. Yeah. Okay, so this is what I was talking about before when I said like cut a strip and weld it on. I've cut it kind of way oversized just to give it a bit more structural integrity. For now, I'll trim it down before we weld it into the old 51. So what I'm going to do is just like a, I don't know what it's called, butt weld, fillet weld, like just going to weld, fusion weld the corner hopefully. So it's just basically on there like that. It won't have that nice rounded thing like the pressed steel, but that's fine for what I want. So I just got to figure out how to get this thing started. Probably something like that. Clean some of this coating off before I do anything. Right, I said about tacking this on. Before I do any of that, I've got to clean my tungsten. I managed to contaminate it within about 2 seconds of starting that other little welding thing. So. Okay, alrighty, so okay, turned the old little TIG down like real low. I got it down to like 25 amps or something like that, because I don't want to, this shit's pretty thin, I don't want to kind of blow it apart. So I'm just going to run a series of little tacks and that in here and see if I can get this to start working how I want it to. Right, so that's that tacked together. I'm going to let that cool off a little bit. I'm going to do some trial fitting and just see whether we're in the ballpark. Alrighty, I reckon we'll be pretty close once we cut that piece out, cut that out. So what I'll do now is I'll go through, weld all that up. Should I trim that lip back? I probably should. Or maybe I'll cut that out and then I'll trim that lip back. Or do I weld it in and then trim? No, I'll trim it after I weld that. Yeah, after I cut that out, I'll trim this up. That make sense? Probably not. Talking a whole bunch of rubbish. I'm getting over a cold, so I'm kind of a bit kind of spaced out at the moment. So hopefully this works out all right. Can't really concentrate that well, but we'll carry on. Okay, so that's that little piece welded. Just been trying to cool it down with the air gun. There's a little bit booger there, but it's right. It should grind up all right. Is that a hole? I don't know. I'll grind it up and we'll have a look. Alrighty, so there's my little piece made. I'm not going to bother trying to grind up on the inside there. That's not going to be seen. It's not going to matter. And that'll help kind of strengthen up that lip anyway, having that extra bit of blobbage in the back there. I might white brush it though. So I'll need to put some etch primer and stuff on the back of this, some weld through before I weld it into the inner fender, eh? Yeah. Plus I've got to figure out where that captive nut thing goes too. How are you supposed to do this then?
Ew.
Okay, right, so as you saw, cut that piece out. She was pretty pretty huckery, not much left of that area at all, but what I've got to do now is do something about this kind of captive nut scenario that's on here for the inner cover. I was thinking I might just kind of pick this apart and tack that on sort of thing, but I might not bother with that. I might just find out what the thread is and just drill and weld a nut onto the back of there. It might be the smart money, I reckon, rather than messing around with that old rusty heap of shit. But I need to figure out, need to get it in the right spot. So just going to use the old, that's not going to work because that's not long enough. I've got a pencil to get in there. Let's just get in there like that with a little wee stubby pencil, and that gives me my little mark. So I'll drill that. Actually, I'll find a nut first, find out what it is, and what do you reckon that is? Probably a 1/4 inch, maybe? No, quarter? It's about 6mm looking. Yeah, something like that. I'll find something. Okay, so in amongst my jar of nuts and bolts and all sorts of crap, I could not find a nut, sorry, in the size that I wanted, so I just drilled and tapped a bit of 5mm and tacked on the back. So that'll do. Yeah, so next up, I guess, I think I was thinking, oh, maybe I'll try TIG welding this in here, but there's so much crap in that under there, and it's pretty thin steel. I'm worried that I'll just make a mess, blow it all through, but yeah, we'll have a look, but who knows. Alrighty, so that's where it's got to go, just like that, but fitting nicely. And then the other reason is I cut it a little bit crooked. Oh, I was cutting that out. Oh, bugger. And I don't know whether I'm skilled enough to do any gap jumping with the old tigulator with that much. So I might just I know I could do that with the MIG. Sorry, God, struggling with my words today. So I might just do the final sort of trim up, start tacking this into place, clean up the skin a bit more with a little roller, clean that up so I can weld that where I cut through when I couldn't see what I was doing, and get ready to weld this in. Oh, I might spray the back of that. I will spray the back of that before I do anything else so I don't forget. Using some of this Zinc-It galvanic rust protection weld through primer on this particular repair. Doesn't need to be that copper coat stuff, so this is a primer, whereas that's kind of it's a bit different. But anyway, not 100% sure what the differences are, but I'll just use it on this one anyways, and yeah, take it from there. Alrighty, so I'll just quickly mark how much of this I've got to trim off. About there. About there. Yep. So we just go like that with the old finger scribe. Whoop. There's me being cocky and cockeyed it up. I'm going to trim that up and then get ready to weld it in. I'll trim that there. I've got to trim a bit off there too, actually. What's that? Yes. That'll be right. Okay, so I think I've got everything I need under here to weld this thing in. I'm going to put a couple of tacks in it first, then do a little bit of trimming and then weld it, I think. Hopefully, if I can see what I'm doing. Chances are a bit slim. The light's not too bad. Where's my welder? There it is. What are my settings at? I might. Yeah, I'll try that. And then trying to weld under the car, you got the helmet gets in the way. That's about that much there. Yeah, gonna have to do a bit of stunt welding here, I reckon. You with me thinking of making this, and this is what I always do. I make a nice little piece and then I butcher it when I weld it in. The only thing I didn't grab was a dolly to put behind there to hammer against. Oh, I might whack another couple of tacks in down here and maybe one in there, and then I might have to bash that one up a little bit. Yep. Oh man, this is awkward. Sorry. Cables and welding gear and helmets and hats and gloves, and I just cannot see what I'm doing. Yeah, I need a dolly. Back in the sec. Grab another grinder just for good measures. I didn't feel like I had enough tools down here already. And safety glasses.
Hi guys, battery's about to die. That's pretty much that repair done. There's a little hole I've got to plug up there, and I kind of did some welding down here, but it just kind of blew out, and yeah, now it's got like a big clump of weld in there. But I was wire wheeling and opened up some pretty piston bits there. Trying to decide whether to make another little patch and weld that in. Probably should, because that's kind of the right thing to do, eh? Here. Okay, so I'm going to make another little patch and weld another little patch in. Alrighty, 7% on the battery, forgot to change it, so just made up a little patch to go in there, so I've just got to mark that and hopefully try and hold this camera with my knees so I can cut this out. I'll cut to the inside of the line. Doing a little bit different this time on this one. This for why, I don't really know, but yeah, that's what I'm going to cut out and weld in that bit. So this is where we're at. Second patch in. Oh, I still didn't change the battery. The curve's not quite right, but it doesn't matter. There's going to be a cover over there, and it's up under the wheel arch and that, of course, as well. Drilled out those, retapped them, put it, and actually these keep falling out, so I ended up putting a couple of just little tacks and that to hold them in place. Kind of went around and gave it a bit of a quick wire wheel and cleaned up some of the stuff on the inside. All this sort of shit here is all going to get seam sealed and whatnot, all these lap joints and crap like that. I even do this like a little rub seam sealer across that kind of pinch weld in the inner sills, or inner wheel. Okay, so battery went flat. I am filthy. Like, look at the state of this. Tools, dirt, dust everywhere. All for the sake of that and that, and a bit of other wheelie jigging and grinding and stuff in a few other places, and having to fill in some little pinholes with weld and shit like that. But holy, what a mess. But yeah, so what was I saying? Yeah, drilled out those broken bolts or whatever they are, captive nuts or whatever you want to call them, and yeah, I've given this a bit of a wire brush, and now I'm going to spray some of that rust converter on this now while it's kind of freshly opened up, kind of. This is where I'm going to leave this one. Just a little short video on hopefully the last of the rust repairs on the old Area 51 project. I can feel it. It feels like I've been rolling around in honey and then in the sand. But yeah, all up under here. Look at the surface rust, hey? It's horrific. In a perfect world, I would have, would have been cool to get the whole thing sandblasted and etched and that, and then you work through it. That's how I did my Monaro. That came to me. I bought that and it had already been pulled apart, sandblasted, and etched prime. Again, someone else's kind of quitted project. They'd given up on it. Well, no, actually, they had. I tell a lie. They had found another one complete, all done, so they weren't going to do a restoration on this one, so they decided to sell it off as a going concern. And Muggins bought it and spent 5 years cutting rust out of it and trying to build a complete car out of it. And I did. And as I talked about in one of the more recent videos, maybe last week or the week before, I got to have a look at that car after about 13 years of it being in paint, and still holding up. So big ups to me. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. But keep the applause down. Yeah, I don't know what I'm on about now. Wow, 2 little patch repairs, but hopefully that's the worst of it. That's the worst of it. There's still a bit more welding to do under here. I want to clean up some other bits and pieces, and probably, maybe, yeah, and yeah, a lot of wire wheeling. I probably need to go and buy some new wire wheels actually, like attachments. But anyway, yeah, bring on. I shouldn't sit under here and try to talk because I get distracted when I see things that kind of it's like, oh, I've got to do something with that. But yeah, I'm going to squirt some some rust fix on that and squirt some inside that guard while I'm thinking about it. Yep. What's going on there? I could do it with a bit of straighten out. I don't even know what time it is. My watch is all fogged up from water blasting and stuff. I don't know what time and daylight savings changed, and I haven't changed my watch, so I don't know. Well guys, that's where I'm going to leave this riveting episode of the Area 51 update. Yeah, got that last little patch done, and that's kind of really all I was aiming for today. Ended up being 2, but it's all good. That's how it goes. But yeah, sorry I'm being a bit out of sorts, can't really talk very well today. I've been had a bit of a cold during the week, and it's kind of like still a bit kind of like phased out, and can't really sort of think all that straight. Well, even less than usual, put it that way. And yeah, probably a bit of a shit video, but it's progress. Still, it's progress. And yeah, next up, I guess we'll be doing the back half under the floor, which I've just been, looking at it, pondering it and stuff. Not really that enthused, but it's got to be done. As you've probably seen in the background and stuff, a lot of surface rust and scaly shit, and I got to trim up the inner guard there for the old step notch, and got a bunch of stuff to take care of. A bit more plug welding on the braces at the back side there, and then a bunch of grinding and power filing and trying to figure out what to do with that Hickory lap joint there, which is a bit of a leftover of the original stuff, but I don't know. Maybe that's a battle for another day. I shouldn't even really be thinking about that today. I should be just, sitting on the couch doing some YouTubing or something. Hey, that's the best thing you could be doing. So yeah, as always, thanks for watching, and thanks for those people who subscribed. If you haven't subscribed, get on there and subscribe, get onto it. And yeah, if you, I don't know, thanks for watching. All those folk, and the folk that have kind of been commenting and sharing and liking and stuff like that, cheers for that, good on you. And the helpful tips and that, the guys that message me and let me know where to get things from, and car community is pretty cool like that. You get stuck on something like this and you don't know what something looks like. There's someone out there who's got one in a box, and they can sort of show you, send you a picture. That's all it takes. Someone to kind of like just take a little bit of time out of their day and do a little bit of homework for you, and kind of help you get ahead and make progress. But yeah, I don't know where I was going with that, as usual, drifting off into a big sweaty, dirty rant about something, I don't know. But yeah, thanks for watching. Till next time, take it easy and peace.